3.36 miles. For all of those who say, Crofty, forget kilometres, I want miles. 3.36 miles.
So 5.3 kilometres-ish, something like that.
Do you buy your fuel in gallons as well?
Kilowatts.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they've done, you know, that's a lot of mileage he's doing here. You know, this around the circuit, that's nearly 700k he's done. That means today. That's phenomenal.
Do you want me to work it out?
So Mark Hughes has told me that, who's normally up in the com box with us, the unmarked tyres are C3s, made in Istanbul. Standard ones are in Romania. They want to check that they're the same specification, the same performance. Each team has 2 sets, and that's why we're seeing another team out there now in the form of Haas putting a set of unmarked C3s on.
Max Verstappen has done 714 near enough kilometres today.
Yeah, you know, that's impressive, isn't it, for a day one rollout?
Thank you for the tyre information there.
That was Mark, it wasn't me.
Right, you relayed it to the world.
Yep.
You were the conduit. I'm not sure you've ever been called a conduit before, but
Close.
How big is Brundle's telly is not quite trending on social media yet, but trust me.
It will be by the end of Sunday at the rate you're going.
You should see the remote control.
You need a weightlifter to help you out and change the channels. Thank you to all of those who have taken up the challenge to try and get it trending on Twitter. I've no idea how many you need to be trending on Twitter. I can barely say it, but it's very funny. Thank you very much for all your suggestions on that one. Is it meters or centimeters they want to know? Oh dear, if you're only just joining us, it's been a long but thoroughly enjoyable day for us, and hopefully yourselves as well, to see Formula One cars back on the track once again. As I messaged on Instagram a little earlier, what is there not to love about today? The sun's been shining, the cars are out, Formula One is back. What is there not to love if you're Red Bull and Max Verstappen? 133 laps and counting, and the fastest time as well with a 1:30.6. Lando Norris has gone very close to that time now, and just a couple of tenths back in the McLaren. 41 laps for him this afternoon. We're on board now with Carlos Sainz, who's currently 9th fastest, but has put in a couple of personal best sectors, first and second. Esteban Ocon, who's done 124 laps, is back out of the garage once more for a final few laps around this track, as we see Carlos Sainz powering down the main straights, and he goes 5th fastest behind Lance Stroll, who's 1:31.7, was set on the trial tyre, the test tyre, the C3 trial tyre. Daniel Ricciardo, who was out in the morning session and was fastest in the morning session with a 1:32.2, is 7th fastest. 1.6 seconds difference between Verstappen and Ricciardo, and obviously the track, even in sandy, dusty, windy conditions, has rubbered in sufficiently so that the afternoon runners, you would expect, would have been going a bit faster.
Yeah, they're finding some grip. The track is coming towards them a little bit, and yeah, a few teams breathing a slight sigh of relief, no doubt about it. You see that app there? Like, I can turn my telly on from Bahrain. There it is, look. The big one at the bottom there.
That big, you can just reach out, or you have to use the app.
It's easy. I don't know how to turn it off if I turn it on, so I'm not going to show you.
10th season together with you in the commentary box, I'm learning things that I did not know. Got an app to turn his telly on, that's brilliant.
It's only a little app.
It's a massive screen.
Come on, let's pay attention. I know it's been a very long day. We've got
two
more, yeah. But there's
tomorrow.
There is lots to talk about, and still the Mercedes on the hard tyres will not settle down on the way out of turn 2.
That's a new set of boots as well. I think You know, he did quite a slow out lap there, Lewis, to try and keep the temperatures down. And it'll be interesting as the lap goes along whether, you know, that changes it. Well, it's not happy over there, is he?
Whatever they've worked on in terms of setup has not transpired into anything near what Lewis Hamilton would be wanting.
It's not sticking to the road on those hards.
No.
Who's interviewing Lewis tonight? Is anybody?
Not me.
Is that Tedos?
Ted. I assume Ted. This is what happened. But I suppose, though, the minute you start going offline here, you are going to lose substantial amount of grip because of the amount of sand that is either side of the racing line. But still, better for it to happen now than in 2 weeks' time. But it's not what you expect to be happening for the defending champions.
Yeah, I wonder if he can recharge the battery and cool the tyres and have another go. But
is it possibly tyre preparation as well?
it's just not ever really stuck today, has it?
No.
It's really not been looking settled at all.
So Lewis Hamilton will go again. Esteban Ocon, I mentioned, had come out of his garage. He's back in the garage once more. And we'll follow Lewis Hamilton again.
I mean, he backed out of it early enough to have charged the batteries back up, I think, and he wouldn't have used all of it, obviously, as well. So here we go. Unleashes it out of the final corner. It'll be interesting to see if the back of the car sticks with them a bit more, having now done another lap as Ocon comes out of the pits in the Alpine. There is Hamilton, DRS open into turn one. This is, still understeering there, isn't he? He's gone wider. That's compromised his line for the second part of that sequence of corners. He's had to take a tighter line through too.
Yeah.
Up to turn 4 with Hamilton. You can see the live speed on your screen as well.
Interesting, Lewis doesn't like that really wide turning point into 4 along the curve. Well, he certainly wasn't using it, put it that way.
Personal best for Hamilton through the first sector. Up a second down. He's got the Alpine of Esteban Ocon just ahead of him. Lock up though, going into turn 10, and that's the end of that lap. Well, he got further than the one previously, but only by about 4 corners.
Yeah. We're not getting a lot of radio transmission today, but I think it could be quite interesting if we were. We had one, didn't we? One piece of radio, which was Lewis asking to change the pedals.
Yeah. And then they were changed, and then he had a problem with his wing mirror on the left-hand side. And this is the lockup.
Whoa, right at the last moment, wasn't it? It may have had a tiny bit of aero interference from the car in front. But it looked like he'd made it, but he was on quite a wide line at that point.
It's just, the retardation just wasn't there, was it? It just, that first phase when he got on the brake, it just didn't slow down enough for him.
No, he had to hang on the brake pedal, didn't he? Which eventually, when you start cranking in some steering lock, is always going to lock the inside tyre there.
So he's allowing...
I never understand how they've got any brake temperature when they get down to turn 1. They must be so benign, the brakes now.
Well, you sacrifice a bit of that to let the 2 cars get ahead of you, so that you're not disturbed once again by the Alpine and Williams. And there's your brake temperature question answered.
There's the answer, yeah.
It's one of those he had to hang back, because otherwise he's right on the gearbox of the 2 cars in front when he gets going. But by hanging back, everything's cooled down too much.
Yeah, but they do that in qualifying sometimes, don't they? When they're tripping over each other, you think, how is that thing going to stop at the first corner? It didn't on this occasion.
Except in qualifying, of course, you've normally got the softest compound tyre on that helps you out when it comes to that. But you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Just snatches here, doesn't it? As soon as he gets on the brake, a clear sign of cold grab.
Yeah.
When the temperature's too low, you get that snatch of the brakes there, and I mean, that's, you know, he's been off 3 laps in a row now, hasn't he?
Yeah. So it was lap corner 6, corner 10, and turn 1.
It's just not biting. It's just, you know, we've said it all day on this C2 tyres, just not digging into the road. And I strongly suspect when he speaks to Ted at the end of the day, he will probably say something similar.
If there's an award for perseverance, if Lewis Hamilton's going for a 4th lap here, he might be a good candidate for it in terms of today.
Well, he's not now.
No, because the virtual safety car has now come in, and we saw this, of course, at the end of the first session of the day. There's Lando Norris going on at turn 1.
Blocking the left front. There's a bit of a bump there where the tunnel goes underneath, which there's always a bump where a tunnel goes underneath the racetrack to varying degrees. It's not too bad, but you do, but then the cars don't really brake until after that.
I'm now thinking this might be a planned virtual safety car at the end of every session then, because it came at round about this time this morning. And the virtual safety car where the track is neutralised. Think of your Scalextric set with all the cars running on the same lane. Pretty much like that, where you stick to a timing delta that you can't go any faster than, and you watch it like a hawk on your dashboard, and this is to make sure that those systems are working, because you don't want to be testing this at all, Martin, when you get to the first race. You need to be tested now.
Well, it's for the FIA to test as well, isn't it, and make sure the cars are getting the right signal. But that kind of sums up Mercedes Day, doesn't it? Valtteri Bottas just got out, finally got out, and there was a red flag, and which they followed with a virtual safety car. And then now Lewis is desperately trying to get a lap in, and he's got it too.
What's going on here? Because they shouldn't be overtaking each other.
No, Lewis is the red lights on top of Lewis's car as well for the energy pack, but it's gone off now.
No, you're meant to completely neutralise the race and neutralise the track activity, because often there are marshals working by the side of the track to recover vehicles. That's why we have the virtual safety car.
I think it's getting confusing because Max is driving offline, and I can understand what's happening here, because Ocon and Lewis are wondering, well, is he letting us pass? What's going on here? So I think it's getting a little bit confusing for them.
You're not allowed to overtake unless the car in front of you is clearly in trouble and showing signs of slowing down. So I wonder if Lewis, now the virtual safety car I think has now ended, I wonder if Lewis, after recharging and re-energizing the battery, is now going to go for a lap here and get a lap in right at the end. Or has the virtual safety car ended? It hasn't. No, it's still flashing.
It's still flashing.
Yeah.
I'd imagine then he'll be appearing into the pits very soon. So, session result for the day. What a result for Max Verstappen and for Red Bull. If they had problems 12 months ago at testing, with some unexplained spins and accidents in the car that they took a while to get on top of in the 2020 season, well, they've hit the ground running today. C3 tyres on for Verstappen with the quickest time, a couple of tenths faster than Lando Norris, also on the C3s. A productive day for McLaren on their first day back with Mercedes power as well since 2014. Esteban Ocon, C4 tyres, half a second back, and he used a slightly softer compound for that fastest time. The T that's marked with Lance Stroll is for a trial tyre that is the C3, as was Carlos Sainz, so 4th and 5th for Aston Martin, and for Ferrari, Giovinazzi, some impressive lap times from him, ahead of Ricciardo, who was the quickest man in the morning session but didn't drive this afternoon. Gasly and Tsunoda separated by about half a second, but Gasly on the faster tyres, and Lewis Hamilton only 10th fastest for Mercedes, and he had a better afternoon than Valtteri Bottas, who was stuck in the garage for pretty much 3 hours, 3.5 hours, because of a necessitated gearbox change. Mick Schumacher on his first day with Haas in the pre-season test, slightly behind his teammate Nikita Mazepin. Mazepin on the faster tyre than Schumacher. Sebastian Vettel on the trial tyre, 13th fastest for him. Seemed to be doing a lot of long runs in the Aston Martin. Kimi Raikkonen and Charles Leclerc were both on duty this morning. It has been Max's day. Verstappen fastest on this opening day of testing. So, Karun Chandok and Martin Brundle alongside me. They were the times, but behind the headlines, behind the times, what are your thoughts on the day's session?
Fundamentally decent reliability. Yeah, Red Bull looked extremely solid. Great day for McLaren too. Ocon